This is Devin Galaudet, the Mystical Solutions to Modern Love, where every week we talk about love, romance, relationships, my compulsive need to keep getting married to the woman that I love, why I do that, and the spiritual solutions that I use in order to maintain a fantastic love life. I hope you want that. So if you do, I am glad that you are here. I don't know how you found me, but I am thrilled that you are working it out with me. So anyway, I was talking a little bit earlier. I failed to record it, but I'm going to tell you again. I already recorded the episode yesterday at noon. And normally I would just throw it up online and go, okay, we'll get them next time. And I was just unhappy with it. So I'm reshooting it. It's kind of late at night on a Thursday, which is, again, it's not something I do, but I was kicking it around. I had a whole bunch of things happen at once, so I stopped it. And so I'm redoing it now. And which I actually think is probably a really good idea, because there are some ideas that I didn't have a chance to bring out yesterday. And so first off, understand this is the last episode. It's episode number 22 of Love and Relationship Savers. This week we are talking about service. And a lot of people, when I talk about service and love, people tend to kind of get weird because it's like, oh, well, you're telling me, you tell me to do service with my partner or for my partner, you're telling me that I should do what they tell me to do. And that's really not quite it. It's what I'm trying to do is define the difference between love being a form of negotiation or manipulation versus service. So first off, let's describe what the problem is. Frequently, I talk to people who are really looking to be validated and fixed by their love lives. That means when they say, I love you, they're really wanting to hear it in return. I love you because I'm more likely to hear it when I say it to somebody else, and then I can fix the feelings that I'm having or the confusion that I'm having in a relationship. That's not love, that is a negotiation. Really, the object of love is that we go out of our way to offer support and happiness towards what our mates want, people that we love. Like, we want what's best from them, and we're going to get into what's best for them in a few minutes. But before we do that, like an example of I love you is, I'm going to give you this thing, but I want something in return. I used to say that to my daughter with some regularity. You can have the animal crackers and I love you, but really, I just want you to stop screaming and yelling. So it's frequently used as a tool of negotiation and manipulation. And it's, many people that I speak to on a regular basis use love as something more than, I just want my partner to be happy. I just want to give them what they're hoping to receive. I want to support them in their endeavors. I want them to succeed. Those are really the actions of love. So when I talk about service, I'm talking about wanting what's best for the other person. So anyway, you now have our five love savers. If you haven't seen them all, they are going to be on devingallaudet.com. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put down a little thing down here, but I'm also going to put it up here where it says Devin Galaudet. Or if you go here where it says join us, if you click on that link, if you're with us today on Blab, you'll go straight to our sign up page where you can get all kinds of groovy free things and notifications about all kinds of fun stuff that we're doing over at my site. So I hope you join devingallaudet.com and learn more about what we are doing to kind of bring love to the forefront in all of our relationships. So that all said, the part 2 of our brief program today is going to be on Gevurah. So anyway, sorry to do this to you, but I'm low tech. Anyway, here's the picture of the entire tree of life as we talk so regularly The bottom sphere is the land of illusion, where we are seated, where we get an opportunity to make corrections and changes in our lives in order to be closer to the divine and be more like the divine and earn the light that we get so freely. And remember, if you don't necessarily believe in some sort of a God, higher power, gods with a plural, something like that, you can always believe in sort of your highest nobility or your innermost self. Anyway, today we are talking about the red sphere that is right over here. And the red sphere is actually titled Gevurah or Din. It has two names. Not all of the spheres do, but this one in particular does. Its main focus, it's frequently referred to as part of the pillar of severity. Is it really severity? Nah. Din means justice. Gevurah means strength. So there's sort of a, frequently when people think of Gevurah, they think of Mars, which is usually kind of connected to Gevurah to sort of like show this more fiery, strong energy. And I think that's true, but I also think it's a little bit over the top. Really what's happening is, as a matter of fact, we're going to start from the tree and we're going to walk our way down so you'll get a handle on Gevurah. This top sphere, remember the white one at the very top, with the light blue horizontal line connecting to it is Kether. And Kether is the abundance of all the light. There's nothing but perfection here. It's all about unity. And so it is sort of like in a balanced position in the center column. And so when it gives its light to the gray sphere, which is Chokhmah, Chokhmah has no reason not to give everything that it gets because it's this perfect unity within itself. So it passes the light onto the dark indigo sphere, which is Binah. And as we've talked about a couple weeks ago, deals with this idea that we now create sort of like the archetypes of individual things, concepts. Anything that you can think of is sort of birthed through Binah, and it's totally cool. But in occultist circles, you will frequently hear that it is called the Dark Mother, represented by Saturn. And the Dark Mother kind of creates things that are of limitation. It creates death. It creates unhappiness. So all sort of like this positive light that was in the cosmic soup of our abundance at Kether and Chokhmah are starting to get subdivided to things that, we down here at the bottom of the tree aren't too thrilled about. The important thing to understand next, if you will notice, there is no direct line that leads from the dark indigo to the blue sphere at Hesed. So Hesed is about abundance. It's frequently connected to the ideas of Jupiter. The only difference here is that Jupiter is happy to give freely, but the distinction is that where Chokhmah was giving all of the light of the divine because there was no reason not to, now we sort of have a separation. And that separation is that path that is not between Binah and Hesed, in other words, the indigo to the blue sphere. In occultist circles, that is frequently kind of looked at as the abyss, where there is this very distinct demarcation from that top triangle, which is sort of like, think of it as of God, described as the supernals, down to Hesed, which is kind of much more of like a human being sort of element. Hard to attain, because Hesed really deals with the notion of loving kindness, but frequently that on that pillar of mercy, and as a matter of fact, this whole line here is considered to be the pillar of mercy. Now, when it's giving, now it's sort of like in the face of after we've dealt with inventing death and limitation and perhaps suffering and evil and some other concepts that we're not wild about. So when we talk about it, it's sort of like this is a place where we want to start having responsibility to what we should be giving to somebody else. But that's not necessarily what Hesed does. It does give loving kindness. It does give mercy, but there is now sort of like a wariness attached to it. So all of that energy is then given, as you can see through that yellow sphere, to the red sphere, that yellow path to the red sphere, which is Gevurah. So it's frequently labeled, again, Mars energy, severity, challenging stuff. I know it's scary, it's difficult. But really what it's doing is it's receiving this energy that can be good or it could not be good. And so Gevurah's place, really what's happening is that it is having to make hard choices. It's making choices that are probably a little bit more difficult than usual. And so, when it talks about the Mars energy and the intensity of it and the warness of it, this is when it gets real thick. So I would argue actually that part of the reason why it's called severity, other than sort of a very, very old line in the Bible that was actually, all of these spheres were dubbed their names by a line in the Bible from Isaac the Blind from 1100 years ago, just a really long time. But I'm not going to get into all of that. But one of the reasons why severity sort of fits and strength fits is that this red sphere is about kind of developing a sense of choice. And again, it is a hard place to be. And so what does this have to do with love? Why do you care? You care because during the course of your courtships with people, during the process of where you're picking and choosing sort of like the love that you want in your life, it's going to be hard some days because nobody gives you a specific manual. Well, I will, but most people don't give you a specific manual of how do you find love. Because it's tricky and it's confusing. So understand that when we're talking about Gevurah, we're talking about making some really hard choices. Like sometimes you have to cut something off in order to save the whole. So look at it as a good thing, but for the rest of us, when we're standing at the very bottom looking up at the sphere way up in the sky, it's the best analogy I can think of at 11 o'clock at night, that you are dealing with powerful energy and sometimes very, very challenging decisions. So if you are new here, I come here every week at 12 noon on Wednesday, except for today. I will be back here Wednesday at 12 noon. And if you haven't gotten it, go to this Join Us link, or this link that I'm giving you right now, devingallaudet.com. That will allow you to download my ebook, Women Are Smarter Than Men. Yes, that's the guy that I'm talking about. You can get a free guide to find out how to love better, fix your relationship, and take some immediate action to improve your love life. So anyway, that's what I got this week. Understand that next week, we're sort of like done with these 5 things that move us away from love and the 5 things that move us toward us. And it's actually been like 13 weeks. So it's been a great program. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all really soon. And thanks so much. So we'll check in next week with a slightly different format. And I'm looking forward to answering your questions. And again, check it out, devingallaudet.com, and wishing you guys nothing but happiness. Best.